Hi, modern fashion designers. Welcome back to class. This is Modern Woman Apparel. I want to say a very big thank you to all my returning subscribers. And if this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please join us by clicking on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. So, guys, in today's class, we're going to be doing this beautiful dress here. And if this looks like what you're here to watch, kindly stay tuned to the end of this video. Now the first thing we are going to be doing is to put our fabric on fold. So what I have here is for the front and also for the back, because we are going to be cutting it together. So this is for the front, you can see it's on fold, and the back is also on fold. After that, I'll secure my fabric with my pins in order for it not to move about. And once I'm done securing it with my pins, I'll rule the starting line. So go ahead and rule the starting line. So after the starting line, what we are going to do now is to take the shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'm working with 14 divided by 2 is 7, and I'll take the length from there. I'm working with sleeve length of 14, and I'll be adding 1 inch for hemming, and that's 15. After that, I'll go to the neckline. So I'm going to be using neckline of 3.5. So if you're working for a bigger person, you use 4 inches. So 3.5 for the neck width, and for the back, we're going to be using 1.5. So this 1.5 works for all sizes. So this is back neckline. And for the front neck depth, we are going to be using 8 inches. So the neck depth depends on what you want. So after taking the neck depth, I'm going to be connecting my V neckline this way. Now the next thing we are going to be doing now is to be getting the shoulder slope. So what we have to do now is to go over to the sleeve length again and come down by 1 inch, and from that 1 inch we'll connect back to the neckline to get the shoulder slope. Now on the length of the sleeve, I'm having the circumference as 12. So what I will do now is to divide the 12 by 2, and I'll have 6. I'm adding 2.5 for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So altogether I'm having 9.5. So this is the line of the 9.5. Now for this, what you're going to be using is the biggest circumference of the body. So for this, the hip is the biggest circumference. So I'm working with hip of 40 divided by 4 is 10. Now I'm going to be adding 4 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. Altogether I'm having 5 inches. But if you want yours to be extremely big, what you have to do is from the sleeve length here. So you know we have 1 inch for the folding allowance. So this is where the 1 inch is, and this is the actual sleeve length. So from the sleeve length here, just come in by 3 inches. Do you understand? The next thing is to get the knee line. So this is the knee line here, and on the knee line I'm going to be imputing the hip circumference divided by 4, and instead of using 4 inches for ease, I'm going to be using 3 inches for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So by so doing, we are trying to give the upper part a little bit of cow effect, like a curve, you understand. But if you want it to be straight, all you have to do is the same thing you have on the bust area. Go ahead and take it on the knee area. Just go ahead and extend it all the way down. Do you understand? So now what we have on the knee, we are going to still impute it on the length of the gown, which is hip divided by 4 plus 4 inches, 3 inches for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. And here we are just going to curve here out in order to avoid pointy edge. Now before we cut this out, to go to the neckline and add half inch to the front and the back neckline. Also add half inch to the shoulder line here. And here I'm just marking out the sleeve length in order to know exactly where to cut. So now before we cut out this other part, what we want to do now is to rule out where we want the lace yoke to start from. So you can see what I have on the thumbnail. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I want it to be curved. If you want it to be straight, you use your straight ruler. So just somewhere, I want to just come down from here by 0.75. From this straight line here, I want to come down by 0.75 this way. Can you see? And just connect it to where the neckline, to where the V neckline stops. Can you see what I have here? So you know, normally we are supposed to be adding half inch here and half inch here in order to bring these two together. But as you can see, we are cutting directly on fabric, so we are going to be adding the half inch of this part here. Do you understand? So we will go up here by half inch. Go up here by half inch. Yes, it's going to be cutting through the neckline, but do not worry, we are going to replace it when we are cutting this part. Do you understand? So we have taken the half inch of this part here. Now
if we take half inch here, that means we have shortened this part. So for this part here, in order for this part to be complete when we are cutting it, instead of adding half inch to this remaining part, we'll now add 1 inch. We'll now add 1 inch seam allowance. Do you understand? So that the half inch of it will make up for this half inch that we added to this part, and the other half inch that we are supposed to add it to bring the two together, to join the two together. Do you understand? So on this part here, when we are cutting out the lace part, we'll add 1 inch to this part to make up for this half inch that we have taken here, and the remaining half inch that is supposed to be for the joining allowance. Do you understand? So this is how we go about it, and right now we are going to cut. So first of all, we are going to cut out the neck, the back neckline first, and after that we'll cut out the front neckline. So now we are going to cut here out.
Next is to separate the back and front and cut out the front neckline. You can see I only cut out the front neckline here. And after that, I also transfer the 1 inch seam allowance indication to the back part.
So this is my lace fabric here, and I want the border part here. I want this border part to form the v-neck. So you can see I have trimmed out the border part. Do you understand? The part I want to use, I've trimmed it in such a way that the border will be visible. So I want to use it as the v-neck area.
So what I'll do now is to align it properly and place my yoke on top of it here. So once you place it, I am going to align it so that the v-neck part aligns with the border of the lace. And remember, we said we are going to be adding 1 inch to the joining part of the lace. So this is me adding 1 inch to this part here. So go ahead and add 1 inch, half inch to make up for what we have taken from it, and the remaining half inch will be for joining. So after taking the 1 inch, what I will do is to connect the dots together and also cut out. So guys, this is what we have. Remember that the front part has 2 pieces. Now for the back part, you're just going to be putting your lace on fold. Do you understand? It's not going to be having any piece, any separate piece. So as you put it, just go ahead and add the 1 inch for the allowance, and after that you go ahead and just cut it out.
So guys, for this half inch here, I didn't plan using the selvedge here. So it was when I opened the lace and saw that it still has a trimmable selvedge. That's why I used the selvedge. So the half inch I added here was to turn this. But since I'm using the selvedge now, there's no need for this half inch. Do you understand? So I will just maneuver it. But if you're going to be using the selvedge here on the front part, then you do not need to add this half inch on the neckline of the front. Do you understand? So you do not need to add this half inch on the neckline of the front, except you're going to be folding here with either the lace itself or with bias. Then you add this half inch here. Do you understand? So I'm just going to be using this half inch now. I'm not trimming it out. Do you understand? What I'll just do now is to just use it to overlap it instead of trimming out, because if I trim it out, it's going to be affecting the selvedge I have here. So I'll just adjust it from here and cut it away from this very part. Do you understand? So if you're using selvedge here, you do not need to add this half inch, but you need the half inch on the back part, because we are going to be turning the back part with bias. So right now what we are going to do is to start stitching. So for mine, you can see that I have the selvedge here, so I do not need to fold here. But if yours is not having selvedge here, you go ahead and use your bias tape and fold the V line of this. You see the front here is like this. It's going to be like this. Can you see?
After that, you also pick up the back part and turn the neckline of the back with your bias tape. So you can see what I have here. I've gone ahead to turn the back here. So what we are going to do is to start joining. But before we do that, all you have to do is also to cut out a little facing. We are going to be using this facing to conceal the raw edge of this. So this measures 2.7. It doesn't matter. You you can just cut out a tiny strip for the closing of the raw part. So right now we are going to start joining. So all you have to do is to mark out the center of the main fabric and also mark out the center of the lace here. So you can see me marking out the center of the lace, and the next thing to do will be to merge it right side facing each other, making sure that the two centers are meeting up. Then you go ahead and pin. After pinning, you stitch with half an inch. You can even decide to put your facing together with it and stitch all at once, but I'm first going to stitch the fabric and the lace first, then come back again and position my facing on top of it again and stitch with half an inch. Do you understand? So after this back, you also go to the front and mark out the center front here, and what you're going to be doing is to position your lace this way. So for mine, I have an additional half inch, right? So I'm going to be using that half inch to overlap it this way. So it's going to be overlapping, but you who did not add half inch just have to place your side by side because there's no need for overlapping. So this is mine here is going to be overlapping. Do you understand? But for you who did not add half inch to yours, just place it side by side this way, and once you have placed it, you flip it backwards, making sure that you are placing right side facing each other, and you're just going to turn with half an inch, stitch with half an inch, and after that you also place your facing and stitch. But for mine, I'm just going to be overlapping it due to the half inch that I put there. So, and everything I'm going to stitch together, and once I'm done stitching, this is what I have. Can you see what I have here? This is for the front here. So I'm having this exercise because my lace is stretchy, so I'm just going to trim out the excess here. But you are using a lace that is not stretchy, then everything should match up. But in case you still have excess lace, just go ahead and trim it out. So this is the back part here, and you see what we are going to do now is to notch. So we are going to turn it again to the wrong side, and we are going to be notching the part that we stitch. It's curved, so you need to notch it for it to relax well. So once you are done notching it, all you have to do is to take it to your ironing table and iron. And while you iron, you place your hemming gum underneath this way in between the main fabric and the facing, and you're going to iron it. So I'm done ironing. Right now I'm going to place the front and back fabric right side facing each other, and I'm going to join the shoulder. After joining the shoulder, all you are going to do is to hem the sleeve with that 1 inch we added for hemming allowance. So you can see I've gone ahead to hem the sleeve here, and the next thing to do will be to join the sides with 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and join the sides with 1 inch, and after joining the side, I'll also hem the lower part, that's the length. And once I'm done with that, we'll come back for the pocket. Now you know that the pocket is optional, right? So you can decide not to even attach the pocket, all depends on what you want. So I'm done joining the side and hemming the lower part. So what I did now is to come down by the ankara part here by 6 inches, that's about the waistline. Now I'm going to be cutting my pocket. So the pocket measures 7 by 8.5 here. 7 is the width, 8.5 is the length. So after cutting out the measurement for the sleeve, I will just curve out the inner part. You can decide to leave the rectangular shape as it is, but I like curving out the sleeve to make it this way. Can you see? So now we are going to be
So
attaching
what
this.
I'm going to do now is to open up this seam allowance. Can you see? Starting from where I made the notch, and I will stitch here. Can you see? Right side of this facing the right side of this, and I'm going to be starting from that notch. So I'll stitch here with half an inch. So once I'm done with this very part, I'll bring the second part and also position it right side facing each other. Can you see? Right side facing each other with this. So this is how to stitch this. So when you stitch here with half an inch here, you also stitch this part with half an inch. Can you see what you have here? So at the end of the day, this is what you have. So what you need to do is to place it together this way, and you're going to start from the existing stitches you have here. So just practice somewhere here, and from there sew into the pocket by half inch. So you sew into the pocket by half inch and continue by that half inch all around the pocket. Can you see? So continue by that half inch all around the pocket, and also cross to this part here and continue sewing till you backstitch to the existing stitch. Now once you're done with that, what you have to do is the stitches in between here. Can you see these stitches here? all you have to do is to loosen it up to make room for the pocket opening. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and once I'm done with that, I'll also repeat same on the other side. Now after that, I will weave every other part that needs to be weaved, iron this, and show you what we have.
So guys, this is all we have for this class. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe if you have not done so. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Modern Woman. Bye for now.